Hi guys, Artsy Wisdom. My name is Diane. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to look into to see if the end is near for Mr. Musk. But at first, I wanted to mention a couple of things. We found out the way Gene Hackman and his wife had died, and sadly, he was in the house with her. She had died probably a week prior. And she got the hantavirus, which is from rats and mice. I mean, they have them way north Arizona and New Mexico. It's kind of a crazy thing. It was bigger, I don't know, 10 years ago, but somehow she ingested or, the water, food, something, and maybe it was just in the air. And she got that. And then it went, and it's very dangerous, I guess. If you get it, it's like at a 42% fatality rate, which is terrible. And probably if you catch it early. But sad. She wasn't taking care of him, so the poor guy didn't make it. So the Alzheimer's got him, and he probably didn't eat, and she wasn't there, and I guess it can happen pretty quick. But so anyway, some of my vision was actually accurate because I saw her ingesting something, but perhaps, I don't know, probably not on her food, but something like that. Him, I wasn't sure about. And somebody had asked me about how they were at different places. What I saw was that he wasn't in the same, they were both passed on, but her journey was different. Her soul's journey was different than his. I feel better that they've ascended and moved on off the earth plane, but I still feel like he's still hanging on for some reason. Maybe I mentioned the land, or the house. He's really concerned about the house and the land. And I don't know, somebody had mentioned his children and they didn't seem very sad about his death. And I don't know if that has something to do with it, because I did pull cards and it said something about contracts and justice and that sort of stuff. So, or maybe that just means there will be justice, but I don't think so. I think it's just a sad way to go. And I think his family will, I think he's just hanging around to make sure that happens, or encouraging whoever gets the property that they take care of it. And I don't know how he's going to do that, but somebody mentioned too that the really other good movies that he was in, The Conversation, excellent movie, Enemy of the State, and I think Will Smith was in that movie with him. And The French Connection, of course. I think it had the record at that time for the longest driving scene, like 20 minutes or something. So that was really cool. Anyway, right now, today, so I just wanted to mention I'm going to be channeling some other celebrities or people that they were interested in. Dolores O'Riordan, from the Cranberries. Somebody asked about Barbara Walters and Jimmy Carter. I had done Jimmy Carter before. It was not too long after he passed, to get his opinion about F-47 and all the shenanigans happening there. Michael Hutchins of InSync, or In Excess. I also wanted to mention the Ides of March is coming up, and I did a video not too long ago this March is very, very potent with all kinds of shifts, and the energy is ramped up. We're going through some of it is related to people fighting change, and I mentioned this before, is we have to accept there's going to be change. Doesn't mean we have to like it, or it doesn't mean we don't want to speak our truth and say we don't agree with politics. But I just want you to remember to be ready to adjust, adapt. When they fight it hard, like, I'm not meaning fight the politics. I'm not saying fight inequality or fight hate or anything like that. I'm just saying in our general terms, take the energy and the energy of this shift, this flexiness, and plan something or do something with it, so you're not holding on to it and it's not traumatizing yourself, your body, your mind, your spirit, that kind of thing. So the 14th, I think, is the day that they have to approve of a new budget or raise the debt ceiling or have a shutdown. And I think I've said this before, there probably will be a temporary shutdown. And on that day, 14th, it's just a crazy pivotal time. Leading up to it, and then after it, the energy is still available, or it's still moving around. The Saturn and Sun, and Saturn has restrictions and responsibility and commitments. That's conjunct. They're right on top of each other. That day, opposing the moon, the full moon in Virgo, and the full moon means it's heightened emotional energy. So we've got the Sun in a restrictive stance with Saturn, and it's opposing the heightened energy of the emotional world that we're all living in. And Neptune is right near that. It's not exactly on it, but Neptune's making that change into Aries. And just so much happening. Plus Mars, and I think in Mercury goes retrograde around that time too. So if they do decide, I think this is, if they do decide to wait, they shut down and they're not going to decide or vote on a new budget that will either raise the debt ceiling or whatever, it's going to happen during when Mercury's retrograde. Usually when things are retrograde, or Mercury is, you have to redo things. You have to review. The contract doesn't go through. You find out something's wrong with the whole situation and you want to resubmit things. You don't do the paperwork correctly. So as we do with these ongoing budget fights, they tend to kick the can 3 months down the road, not 6 months down the road. So more than likely that will happen because nobody will decide on anything. And then they'll start all of this pressure cooker of pushback from constituents and the Republican Party getting pushback in the town halls, although they're not going to many anymore. They're usually doing them on Zoom and very carefully editing all the questions. So it's just a volatile time. Plan, do nice things for yourself, sit in calm places, listen to the birds, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth if you're having a particularly difficult moment. It naturally calms your body down. It's when we're at ease, that's what we do. We breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. And when we're excited or nervous or scared, we tend to hyperventilate and just breathe through our mouths. So when you just consciously breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, it naturally, easily calms your body down. It's just as a little aside for future. This was a long beginning. All right, I'm just going to pull some cards on Elon Musk and see, there was that crazy, explosive meeting. And are we seeing the cracks to this relationship between the cabinet, Musk, and the Muskrat, and Felon 47, and how this is going to move forward? He enjoyed that. You know, I've talked about this before. Trump comes from a catacomb, and that was his normal. He loves drama. He's a narcissist, so he wants people fighting over him. So guess what? He was getting that, and he enjoyed it. But when I close my eyes and I look at the muskmelon, the muskrat, and I'm in his energy, I feel this. I feel like my dark eyebrows are going up and down. There's something to the left right here. What is this? What? I feel like he's not actively working on anything that they're discussing or they were worried about yesterday or the other day on Wednesday's explosive meeting. It's more, he's doing something like for X or some of his company stuff. I feel like that's where he's at right now in this moment. Because sometimes it's in that moment. He doesn't feel emotional. And I've seen this before where he feels very robotic. I think his brain is like half computer. Honestly, I know he gets angry, which is more of it is a human emotion, but it's related to not being able to get his way. And so I think he's surely on the spectrum. I know he is, but he's not mad per se at what happened. He's more to like, I think he thinks they're all lesser than him. He looks down on the cabinet post, Marco Rubio, and that Percent, the other one that argued with him. He looks down on them. He thinks he's smarter than them. So he doesn't feel threatened. Are you What is he gonna, are you gonna, his goal is all about him. It's not about democracy. It's not about cleaning up the government. It is all about him. The energy or the feeling I have when I'm in his energy is he is focused on his business, and he's focused on how about what money he has or won't have, or the law, the lawsuits against him and his company. That's his goal. So with them getting angry, they're focused on maybe the democratic process and what their job is as cabinet secretaries. But he knows that, but his agenda is totally different. He says it's the government efficiency, but it isn't. The government efficiency is rooting out things that are going to put light on his corruption and his illegalities. Family togetherness, victory over hard times, trust your feelings. So he's not going anywhere. And they're going to come out and they're going to have a show of unity. So people won't think that they're falling apart because people have heard, this explosive meeting happened. I feel like there is stakes. There's some stakes, high stakes. Healing. Going backwards and reverse. Courage and strength. These are all good cards except for the going. I think they're going to they're going to work on how they come across in a unified, but at first when I heard this, I was like, yay, they're going to fight with him and kick him out. And I think Felon 47 is going to be making sure they all look together. And Musk doesn't really care about this other stuff. He doesn't care what people think, how they feel, or people are older people losing their Social Security. He doesn't care about that. He's trying to keep his company solvent and not go to jail. Well, I see a split. I see a split in between the cabinet and him. I think right now, I think today, they're coming up with a way to not overlap. So maybe leaving the decisions to the agencies more and more. And he does something different where he says, okay, we have to get this money out of there, and they gives them the assignment and they do it. But I see on the back end, he's devising a way, if they don't do what he says, I feel like I see somebody getting, you take a baseball bat or you hit somebody in the knees behind them and they buckle. Oh, he's got something dirty happening or planning. And I think he has spoken to Felon 47 about it. Are they going to start? I think some of these cabinet secretaries are okay people. They're just, loyal and terrible, to the country. But yeah, it's about money. It's about them taking over. I just feel like right now, nothing is going to happen. They're going into their own separate corners, and they're going to look at things from their own angle and then come back to Trump and say, okay, we're going to do this and this and this. And Musk is going to look over it and say, nope, go back and take more out, or go this, we can't do that. I think that might be, that's on the back end. Yeah. I think he has a lot of power, a lot more than we think. I know people are fearful of that, and Trump is always saying he does, and he says he doesn't. He's not the one making all the decisions, but he really, really and truly is. And Trump is obliged to him, and he's protecting him because he knows he's smart and he knows that he's sneaky. Dang it. Okay. All right, that's it, guys. I just wanted to check into that and talk to you about what I saw. I'll jump on again here. We have company. My Canadian stepdaughter's here, and There's a lot of fear in Canada, by the way. I know I have some Canadian viewers, and it's bad. And people are selling and thinking about selling and not coming down, losing a big chunk of the visitors and tourism because they don't want to come down, and I don't blame them. Fine. You know what? Take care of yourselves. It's sad. It makes zero sense. Okay, you guys. In through your nose, out through your mouth.